Okay, perfect. So I guess Fred, we're on your screen, aren't we?
Ein Moment, bitte.
No, no, it's your screen that we're sharing, isn't it?
Yeah, look at it.
Okay, so Diego, how are you? So I mean, Diego and Marlon, they're from the same. They're from both from Ecuador, yeah.
Hi, I'm Diego. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm doing very well. And yourself?
Fine, fine. I'm uh, this moment. I stay in the breakfast.
Nice, nice. Huevos ranchero, chicharrón, chorizo. Good breakfast. So are you guys from Fab Lab Ecuador?
Yeah, stay Marlon,
Hmm.
Marlon and me.
Okay, perfect. Great, great. Well, I guess yeah, nice to meet you guys, and we'll start the presentation. The presentation will be done by Fred Juanes and myself from the UA Bureau, in which we've been working on the how to say collaboratively work on the design together, the design of the Floating Fab Lab project. And I guess we will start with Fred because we're actually using his screen. So if you click on his screen, you'll be able to view the presentation.
Can you see it?
I've got it.
Okay.
Should you click present on your screen?
Um,
There you go.
I'll give it a go. Um,
It's on
yes.
the right.
Is
Right.
that better?
Right. Yeah.
Perfect.
So we made, to start with, a first draft of a kind of timeline in which we present how the barge and the boat will be built over time. It's actually more of a money line than a timeline because the deadlines that are set are actually amounts of money that we need to gather so we can progress to the next stage. And this is what we also want to present to possible sponsors this summer at the Fab 11. So at the first stage, with a little bit of money, we can buy a second-hand barge in Iquitos, and then start planning the second stage, in which we will build first a kitchen and a place to eat, and a machine room and storage for the material, with which we can progress to the third stage. And when we build the rooms to sleep, and a first basic Fab Lab, and to build the command center of the boat, also a small crane maybe on top. If we gather money for that, then we can have like the first version of the boat completed. And with that, we can already start building and helping out the community in Iquitos itself. In this stage, the barge is not self-propelled yet, although it can be pulled around or pushed around by a second boat that needs to be rented then or something. So then, with more money, we can, and the money that's written down here in US dollars is like a very, very rough estimation. So this will be fine-tuned, of course, over the next weeks. So in stage 4, we can add more places for the crew to sleep and to rest and stuff, like make a little salon or something. extend the Fab Lab also to the other side of the barge, so there is like an open space in between, and probably add self-propulsion to the barge so it can float around by itself and go places. And then in the next stage, we will even expand the Fab Lab more. And then the last stage is like, not last stage, but stage 6 is addition of more tools and machines, and it's not so much creating more physical space, but upgrading the physical space that already exists. And then the last stage, in which version 3 will be completed, is the last version of the barge. And there we add sustainable energy sources, so it's a self-sufficient barge. And then once we have this completed, we can fully experiment with that and move on to the boat design. And for the boat, we aim to make a custom-built single hull boat, so also custom design, with already sustainable energy sources and basic facilities to work on it and to sleep on it and to go around with it. So it is like a basic Fab Lab, basic crew quarters, bridge, and so on. Then stage 2, we add a second hull, so it becomes a catamaran. And then also add more sustainable energy sources like hydro energy, and extend the existing facilities. Then stage 3 is the stage where we expand this to a trimaran and add even more sustainable energy sources, because of course it becomes bigger and need more energy, extend the facilities. And then in the fourth and last stage, we have a self-sufficient Fab Lab Dreamboat. And that's it.
The SS Dreamboat.
The SS Dreamboat, yeah.
Which is kind of the new name for the floating Fab Lab project.
Now, how soon this all will be built really depends on how soon we get all the money, and that's why it's divided in stages of money rather than saying by that date we need to have that much money. It's working more or less the other way around. So
yeah, I mean this is correct. I mean the second part of the presentation will be focusing more on the barge, more on we took the departure point that using current and available boat technology in Iquitos has driven us through this line, and what Fred just presented as the Fab Lab boat. You can go back to the previous slide.
Sorry.
So what Fred just presented here, the largest kind of operable boats that are moving at a reasonable speed is the trimaran at the moment, and that's at the similar scale and operational kind of level this boat will be at. And it's important to note that the process is it's very based on evolution of the boat, because at the moment, as Fred highlighted, is that it is monetary based, but also the way that we go about this project has to be flexible enough to accommodate different, say, organizations of the people, you know, leading and involving that are being also involved in this team to push it forward, because as we all know that this is quite a large research and development project in which we would really know the second step only after completing the one previous. Wannes, did you want to kick off the concept and thematic parts of the next stage?
Yep. Okay. So Fred, can you change the slide?
Like this.
Okay, guys. Ok, voy a hacerlo en español para hacerlo más fácil para todos. Pues lo primero es como, bueno, hace un par de meses les realizamos la invitación para seguir el proceso con el Fab Lab flotante y, bueno, y presentarlo en Boston para recoger los fondos necesarios para llevarlo a cabo. En este momento, pues digamos que hasta el día de hoy ya hemos llegado pues a varios acuerdos y hemos encontrado una manera de trabajar que digamos es como la estrategia que encontramos para presentarlo en Boston. Les voy a dar un preámbulo de, digamos, como lo que va a ser este nuevo reto. Y es que, bueno, pues todos estamos cerca o trabajando dentro de un Fab Lab o Makerspace y digamos que como latinoamericanos vivimos en un contexto con una fuerte presencia de la naturaleza. Entonces, digamos que con la formación profesional de todas las personas que estamos en esta red, que son personas que están cerca de la arquitectura, el diseño, las artes, las ingenierías, digamos que en algún momento se han visto influenciados por el estudio de un caso o un fenómeno natural. Eh, digamos que este background nos permite, digamos, como hacernos, pues como hacernos más fácil, o nos permitirá encontrar como oportunidades de proyecto, digamos, para incluirlas dentro del Fab Lab flotante, ¿cierto? Digamos, como inspiración, como referente, como, bueno, en fin, como detonante de, del proceso de diseño. Eh, También esto nos va a facilitar, bueno, hacer una propuesta, testearla y hacer, digamos, de todo esto un reto interesante digamos, como propuestas. Aparte, hemos visto que pues en cada uno de los países ya se ha desarrollado un trabajo increíble y bueno, pues queremos pues como que sigamos en este proceso y bueno, pues motivarlos a que nos veamos en el Fab 11 y bueno, podamos vender el proyecto. Aquí ya para entrar un poco en materia, pues este es el Laboratorio Marino de Steve Zissou. Es una película que se hizo, bueno, hace algunos años y era de un biólogo marino que un tiburón jaguar, como él lo llama, se le comió al compañero y bueno, llevó una misión gigante para al mar a buscarlo. Entonces, digamos que aquí podemos ver en esta barcaza como algo interesante que nos compete, digamos, a todos en el diseño del bote, y es que el diseño tiene que ser compacto, ¿cierto? Digamos que todas las áreas son muy reducidas, todos los servicios son reducidos, y digamos que queda como comprimir lo que más se puede a digamos que todo el diseño o todas las propuestas que se hagan, ¿cierto? Pasa, Fred, por favor. Next one, Fred. Oh, it's
Yeah,
just
it's
slow. Ok. El siguiente paso es la interacción e integración digamos, de las tecnologías, del equipo humano, de los objetos, de todo esto nuevo que va a aparecer digamos, con este nuevo entorno en el que vamos a trabajar. Hay una película muy famosa que, bueno, fue filmada en Iquitos, que era un alemán que quería llevar la ópera la ópera a Iquitos. Porque, bueno, en el mismo momento se había construido la ópera de Manaos, entonces, bueno, estaba maravillado y la quería llevar como diera lugar. En todo caso, es lo que lleva su bote en la búsqueda de Iquitos y se hace amigo de los indígenas para que le ayuden a pasar el bote a través de la montaña, prácticamente cargándosela al hombro, porque tenía que evitar unas cataratas. En todo caso, bueno, esto es como más o menos una idea de cómo esa integración digamos, como de tecnología, objeto, personal humano, digamos, cómo se puede asociar y, digamos, como hacerle un grupo y llevar algo adelante, ¿cierto? La siguiente, Fred. Um, Bueno, mientras pasa, la siguiente es el Panopticon Effect. No sé si alguno lo ha visto, lo ha escuchado anteriormente. Eso fue creado por un filósofo inglés que se llamaba Jeremy Bentham en el siglo XVIII, y el concepto era que las prisiones tenían que tener como digamos, una torre central de vigilancia donde todas las celdas estaban alrededor de este, ¿cierto? Entonces no se veía el vigilante a quién estaba vigilando, entonces había siempre como una incertidumbre de vigilancia, ¿cierto? Entonces, digamos como que esto influenciaba psicológicamente en el actuar de las personas, y bueno, pues en todo caso, este fenómeno se llama el Panopticon Effect, y bueno, pues el Fab Lab flotante de alguna manera va a trabajar como una torre de vigilancia, ¿cierto? Que va a estar como digamos, como desde el río flotando, mirando a sus alrededores, viendo qué pasa, e inclusive puede suceder un fenómeno también inverso, que es que, digamos, que desde la misma selva, desde las comunidades, puede, digamos, como suceder lo mismo, o sea, que el Fab Lab flotante va a tener una interacción importante con la comunidad, o sea, Fab Lab flotante versus comunidades. Fred, la siguiente. Esta ya es Sisus meets Panopticon, o sea, el barco que vieron ahora de la película conoce al efecto Panopticon. Entonces, de alguna manera, digamos como que estos dos temas o teorías como que se encuentran y bueno, ya de ahí nos va a dar pues como partida para organizar el espacio. Eh, en todo caso, pues bueno, aquí yo creo que la imagen habla por sí sola. ¿Puedes pasar, Fred? Bueno, ya nos salimos un poco de la escala del barco y ya nos vamos más como, digamos, al nivel de detalle, ¿cierto? Como les contaba ahorita, de que digamos que todo este background que tenemos profesional entre todas las áreas y digamos la riqueza natural que tenemos dentro de Latinoamérica, especialmente en el Amazonas, puede ser pues, un muy interesante caso de estudio, digamos, para desarrollar tecnología, desarrollar objetos, sistemas, en fin, como por ejemplo, pues este es el ejemplo de donde nació el velcro. Me imagino que todos lo han conocido porque pues creo que casi todos hemos tenido interacción con él. Se basó en esta planta que se llama Purs, y bueno, pues como entrelazándose, digamos, como diferentes grosores de fibra que tiene la planta, la flor de la planta, logra pegarse muy bien y bueno, pues logra el efecto del velcro. En todo caso, pues eso es como un caso de estudio interesante. Y bueno, la siguiente, Fred, que ya es la selva. Y digamos, ya nos vamos como a una escala mucho más grande, donde hay muchos objetos de estudio que, digamos, nos van a permitir sacar como la mayor cantidad, pues, como de información, de oportunidades de proyecto, de tecnologías, de referentes, bueno, en fin. En todo caso, pues, por un ejemplo de eso son las lianas, por ejemplo, con ellas tienen grandes aplicaciones, tanto como para construcciones, pues como para construcciones de casas, la famosa, la de Tarzán, que digamos una liana que tiene una buena resistencia y tiene flexibilidad y permite, digamos, colgar o sí, colgar cosas de ella, también como tomar agua o crear tejidos que puedan crear, digamos, no sé, pues, cobertura o, bueno, en fin. En todo caso, bueno, este es como el fin del preámbulo, chicos, para lo que viene. Eh, Creo que, bueno, no sé, si James ya quiere
Mhm.
seguir la presentación o si tienen alguna pregunta o comentario.
Yeah, we'll go slow. So if you need one is, will you translate after me?
¿Ya?
Yep. Okay. Perfect. No, thanks, Wannes. I mean, that was it's good. We wanted to spend just a little bit of time on setting up what the project what we'll be presenting today. The if we were to go, so just on this, staying on this slide for the moment, the interesting thing of the slide that you just saw and the one beforehand about the biomimetics as a thematic for the project, in which it's something which I'm sure all of us have been exploring once or another in our Fab Lab careers or in our design training. And I think it's important that we make the distinction between using biomimetics as the inspiration for architectural development and biomimetics for technological development. And through this design challenges, which we'll be issuing at the end of this presentation, the idea is just to keep in mind these images that Juanes was speaking about, and also the overarching concept of a boat, of the Floating Fab Lab project being independent of a barge or boat or things like this, but really being an evolution of a systematic design process that's collaboratively developed between us. You know, we must focus on our strengths and then also identify our weaknesses, so we can move together on this project. The next slide, Fred. Okay, so let's get to the nuts and bolts of the project. So over the next few slides, you can move through, Fred. I don't think we need to. It's very self-explanatory. The next few slides. Keep on going.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of delay on the connection.
Okay, perfect. Well, we will share this presentation with all of you afterwards. So as the slides are playing in the back, you can stop there, Fred. As the slides have been going through, you've been seeing something that's kind of resembling the jungle image that you saw before. When I say it's representing, it's more taking that image of the jungle and looking the way a jungle develops and the way that it grows. You know, it starts with the tree trunks. It starts to grow. It starts to branch off to each other. And once it starts to branch off to each other, it starts to create some spaces. And if you keep on going, Fred, and as it starts to create these spaces, you know, the one thing that exists is these cables, you know, these vines that link in between each tree. And when these cables start to link between each tree, you know, the jungle starts to densify itself. It starts to create mini ecosystems. You can stop there, Fred, for the moment. And so what I want to emphasize is that this is by no means the architectural language we will be, say, presenting as a project. It's important to, as we're presenting these images and these diagrams, is that you must take this as a system, you know, as columns and beams and cables, because at the end of the day, you know, every natural system is kind of more or less feeding off each. I mean, any man-made built system is kind of feeding off each other in kind of like this way, in which we're working at things in compression and tension. You know, where you know, the natural environment and the built environment does share these core structural principles. And so what we're trying to illustrate here is how we could focus and develop the boat focusing on these core structural principles, taking some of them later on in the presentation. We will identify the specific areas and how they kind of relate to each other. So moving, what you see here is version 1 complete. And as Fred was illustrating with the overall development of the boat, we start off with just the core basic program, and then it starts to kind of evolve as as we need, you know, crew to be on board, as we need the basic Fab Lab, which you see here. These programmatic requirements is something that's been laid out from the start of the project, and it's something which we should be challenging as well, but by no means is the focus of these design challenges. The focus of these design challenges should be without considering the architectural composition or the programmatic requirements, meaning square meterage. And when I say what you should be considering as we continue the presentation is the function of these rooms. Let's move on. So the next slides will just continue to push through the expansion of this boat. So you can kind of see that it's the same process that's iterated over and over. And if our system of design is rock solid, it should mean that the boat can evolve with that same system. So if we're smart with the way things are connected, and we're smart in the way that in our understanding of way the natural phenomena is translated into the built environment, we should have a very successful and very malleable project that can expand and contract with fluctuations in budget, fluctuations in team, and fluctuations in objective. Because at the moment we are still kind of speculating on the cause and effect of this project. So that cause and effect should be able to influence the evolution of the boat. So let's move on. And yeah, keep on going. So what you see, that this is where we get to the design challenges. So what you've seen is a very quick. I mean, you could spend many days and hours happily arranging the programmatic requirements to I think a lot of us here are architects, and we always find it enjoyable at the start of every project pushing and shifting these programs. And I think it's important for all of us to have a play around with these things, and we will we'll get to that stage. Let's say that as a stage 2, and this stage 1 are design challenges which we hope to execute between the 9th, well today, and the 22nd of this month. We have approximately 6 weeks until we must stop the development of the project and start presenting it. After this 6 weeks, we hope with your participation in this process with us, we'll be able to reach a very important goal for the Floating Fab Lab organization, and that is to present at Fab 11 an overarching concept and also one-to-one prototypes of the projects. Now, it may sound a little bit scary, but we're going to kind of go through the next few slides how we imagine this happening. It's if you can still stay on the previous slide. So basically, when the bottom line of the project at the moment is that when we get to Fab 11, the main goal, or the underlying goal of the Floating Fab organization is to be put in a room or situations with people that will be representing companies, institutions from North America that will be interested in putting the first, say, I don't want to say donations, but say the first investment in our lovely project. And it's very important to transmit to them that the way that we're developing this project is inclusive. It is collaboratively done with the FabLab network, and it also understands the need to fuse the participation of different community groups and academic groups and industry groups. And so this is what we're trying to communicate. So anyway, let's get to the barge design challenges. So as you can see here on the screen, and you probably read as I've been talking, we have identified, let's say, not all the design challenges ahead of us. We've identified 5 very specific design challenges in which we hope to, to thrash out if proposal of working together is the right one for the final project. So we have the structure, the connection detail, the skin, the prefabricated spaces, and the deployment and access of the boat. So the relationship of the barge and the shoreline. Let's start going through them. Okay, so the first design challenge is the structure. Okay, so why are we going with this analogy with the jungle about, seems to be quite a basic analogy, but I think it's important to start here, in which we must address the most fundamental issue of this project, and that is weight. The weight of the Floating Fab Lab project is the most determinable factor for everything, for cost, for agility, for propulsion, for energy systems, everything. Any seaman or any person involved in naval design will tell you it's all about weight. And so with lightweight comes a very familiar structural concept that we have here of tensegrity, in which the most lightweight and most strongest structures work with tensile and compressive forces. So the tensile and compressive forces is something that we're kind of building up from the idea of the vine and the tree trunk. Even though the jungle doesn't work like that, but when you take that natural phenomenon and translate that to the built environment, we must start to understand that jump in structural integrity of materials that we're talking about. So materials are part of this challenge. The only material that we kind of preempt is that it should be with wood, mainly because of not to go on it too much, but wood is the main building material in Iquitos. It is something which the Amazon prides itself on, as in all areas of the Amazon we have available amazing timbers, which are for more or less the core building component. And so with these things, we want to make it evolutive, adaptable, and extensible. As the development of the first stages of the barge illustrated, as these kind of systems grow and get more complex, you can go to the next slide. This is just a zoom of what we're talking about. So these are basic kind of tensegrity structures where you can see on the left, you see a module, you see it in plan view, you see it repeated as a module, and then on the final kind of images on the right, you see the perspective view of how these things kind of grow. So for us, this is a very lightweight structural system that is extraordinarily strong and can provide a framework for the entire boat. And something I did kind of skip in the first part of the presentation is that it's very important the structural systems that we're talking about is very fast as well. It's very rapid, because the first three impending factors on us arriving to Iquitos to build this together is the fact that we need tools, we need food and water, and the third is shade. Shade is probably one of the most important factors in the boat. If we're going to evolve the boat, from one stage to another stage, the most important thing is that shading is kind of always part of this. So lightweight, rapid deployment of the structure is incredibly important. Let's go to the next. Okay, so the next challenge. The next challenge, it's quite straightforward, in which we look at the skin, which would be the next challenge. I won't dwell on it so much, but we have between the structural elements and the cable, we will be having a skin structure. It could be a mesh, it could be many things. But the most important thing I want to say here is that looking at these details is that, you know, it really is between locally sourced materials and something that's very, the way that this challenge in particular should be addressed is very much in between the Fab Lab and local industry. So if you're a Fab Lab in Buenos Aires and you take on board this challenge, it's about how can you resolve this connection detail with the available tools you have and someone in the local industry as your partner. For sure, we need to put this inside the context of the Amazon, but at this stage of the project, it's very, very important that we can test how Fab Labs from all around the Latin American region can work with their own local industry and really have a meaningful input into local industry and also the Floating Fab Lab project. You know, it's a very two-pronged approach here. As I said here, it's collaborative. In the structure, it is more participatory approach when it is really working with local constructors, which I'm sure you're going to meet the amazing Jorge of when I was there in Iquitos. It was the constructors who understand the spirit of the forest. You know, they're the ones that are going to take us into the forest and teach you all the myths about it and teach you how to take it from a tree trunk onto the boat. And it really is about working with them in that challenge. In this challenge, it's more a collaborative scenario. So let's go to the next challenge. Okay, so the skin. Now the images that you see in front of you are we kind of orientating it into, say, like an architectural expression of what we're kind of alluding to with the Steve Zissou reference, with the section through the boat, about exposing, you know, imagine if you cut a section through the heart of this project, what would you expose? Would you expose a Fab Lab? Or would you expose the way that local craftsmen and the Fab Lab work together? For us, it's the second. It really is, you know, the core part of this project, which is very, I mean, there's many core parts of this project, but when we're making the physical, say, the physical facade or the physical image of this boat, it's very important that from day one, it is incredibly linked to its surroundings. But apart from building a maloca and putting it on the floating on a floating barge, I'm sure us as a huge network of designers and architects and Fab Labbers, I'm sure we can investigate, you know, traditional weaving handicrafts, traditional roof construction, which are already, you know, such core parts of everyday life, but how this can kind of weave into this mesh, and how, like, the color, you know, color is always synonymous with identity in Latin America, and how this can, from the very first day we're there, how, you know, local craftsmen can come into the boat and work with us and start to teach us their local skills directly on the physical image of the boat. Should we show the video?
I don't know, I can try. But there will be no sound, I guess.
That's fine. One is, which minute was it?
From minute 2 to minute 3.
All right, minute 2 to 3. So the image, the video we're going to show you is, say, one quite good example of how digital technology and weaving can come together. I guess there's no sound.
No, 1 second. Do you see the video?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sharing the screen now of the video.
Yep, we can see
it. Great. 1 second, I'll be back. Yeah, I got my speakers.
They demonstrate digital possibilities that cannot be implemented in traditional practice. Using the Object Connect 3D printer that allows a linear combination of two different materials, a smooth surface was deformed to a woven pattern and was completed with its black and white elements. In the bottom of the basket, I manually weaved the reed to achieve a simple demonstration of hybrid structure. You said that the tradition is important. So is it the design or the handwork?
Designs.
More important than the handwork. Yeah.
Yes.
Today, we tend to design with a computer in a process that enables repetition of the same model, but in the cost of the originality of the final artifact. While this 3D printed structure can be reprinted easily, the manual investment in the weaving process contributes a new meaning to the digital creation. The power of digital practice is its freedom to easily test forms and ideas. In this basket, I designed and printed a reed holding construction. Using digital rendering, I simulated different reed colors and arrangements.
So when you look at the old baskets, it was white only, or white and black, or brown and black. And what I did, I just started to take some leaves of the trees, different trees, and I take some root of the trees and test it and see what.
Unlike Sitako, who gather and prepare all the materials herself, I ordered my reed online and bought the pigments in a local art store. However, this project still allows me to be much more engaged in the making process while investing many hours practicing my new, unique basketry skills.
Fred, do you want to stop that? Hey Fred, do you want to stop that for the moment?
Well,
Okay,
just meanwhile, Fred, stop it.
Yeah. So yeah, as you can see in that very nice video, you know, this guy Amit Zoran, who's been doing, you know, investigating this. I mean, it's on a smaller scale than what we're envisaging, but it's very interesting, you know, like how we can, you know, we should really take that as a very strong reference with what we're proposing. You know, we can, you know, as we're say thinking of design solutions for this challenge, we can start to think about, you know, these tools that we have in our Fab Lab and how we can kind of link with these type of crafts. Let's go to the next one. We can go to the next slide.
Fred seems is not available. You can follow my desktop.
Okay, so we look at one is.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you sharing your screen?
Yes. Can you see it?
I don't know. I can't. Can the rest of you see it? I can see Fred's screen again. Should we just go to Fred's screen? Let me know if you can't see it. All right, sounds like everyone sees it. Okay, so the fourth challenge, which is probably the biggest one out of all of them, probably the one that appeals to the kind of the central kind of theme that we've been proposing since 9 months ago, is the modularity. Fred, can you share your screen again? I can't see it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've talked about the structure. We've talked about the skin, the connection detail between the skin and the structure. If you can kind of remember the structure slide, when we're looking at tensegrity components, there's many different forms the internal spaces can create. Obviously, in developing this proposal, we've just taken the box as the simplest form to try and understand all the different systems that are in action. And so we call this challenge prefabricated spaces, mainly because it is one of the, all of us have been in Fab Labs for a while now, that prefabrication is one of the key kind of, is one of the key advantages of having a laboratory in which you can pre-make, pre-fit components, modules, or entire units together. I mean, a unit being something that's completely self-contained, something that is probably more akin to like a shipping container or something like this. Modules is really something that moves, that can be connected in an X, Y, and Z direction, but is really kind of, say, mini units that connect together. You could argue that all these systems are modular, which they are. We're just trying to differentiate between the different scales you can approach this challenge at. Fred just disappeared. No? Ah, there we go. That's Fred.
Sorry guys, I don't know what happened.
No, no, that's fine. Can you go back to slide 36?
Yeah. That's it.
Don't worry, guys. We're getting to the end of the presentation. And so one of the things that we've been touching on a little bit is the involvement of systems and renewables and things like this, which is a very important part of the project. But at this stage, it requires a lot more kind of design from our point of view. But something that we need to do, if we're going to make this adaptable and flexible system or this design, we need to integrate servicing and systems into it. So you can see the lovely chaps at the top from Germany, who you see there that they're building, they're carrying almost beam type of components, and they're assembling them into wall structures. The great part of this kind of exposed industrial kind of aesthetic is that it's extremely functional. I mean, you can arrange these things over and over again and accommodate, really any type of industrial program. What we're talking about is industrial program. A lot of our Fab Labs exist and a very basic servicing because they're fixed. We know the machine room is in one spot. We know something is in another spot, and the project will, the space will just build around it. But in actual fact, it's the reverse what we're talking about in the Fab Lab Flotante. If we're going to allow all these different factors to change, we must have integrated servicing. So these components or the modules or the unit themselves could change their arrangement. So let's go to the next slide. So when accepting this design challenge, it's very important that you develop one of these with a programmatic space. For example, we've just gone through the barge development, version 1 being, say, the half size, and version 2 accommodating all the programs set out in the brief. So it's important to say, okay, let's use the FabLab. Okay, so for FabLab version 2, we know a few things. Okay, we know that we're going to have more industrial machinery. We know that we're possibly be more CNC stuff, or more. It could be more, say intensive machinery. So then, what we need to understand is that when designing for that expansion, or that module for expansion, we must take into account which level of the barge we're developing, which stage of the barge we're developing for, and the implications of how systems could connect. Obviously, the most successful solution to this challenge will be the one system that can start from day 1 to the end of the barge version, and adapt itself and connect and kind of move with tools that we can have available from the very first day. Now, the very first version of the barge will have a lighter FabLab. So the solutions you can propose is very open. You know, you can identify which machines you would need to accommodate what type of program that would influence your component design or your module design. These type of components and modules would be very different to the type of ones that would be needed for the crew quarters, because the programmatic requirements dictate that we're not plugging in a CNC machine or laser cutter. We're sleeping, we're living inside this area. But it's not to say that if if we're amazing designers, we could come up with one solution for them all. But let's try and take one at a time. And I would encourage that in the larger groups present here. I know, for example, in El Salvador and Costa Rica and Argentina, you have larger groups, and I'm sure that you guys will be able to tackle many different components of this challenge. It'll be very interesting to see. Let's go to the next. Okay, so the last challenge. The last challenge has been, in the first workshop that we ran, it was very apparent, this was the most fun and engaging challenge. I think El Salvador, Costa Rica, El Área, Argentina, sorry, you guys, really presented, some very positive solutions to this. I guess the challenge now is to really look about rapid, compact, and expandable solutions, because the reality is that when this barge is moving, all this infrastructure that's going to help us stabilize the boats, connect it to the land, and then connect it with the communities, are going to be condensed as possible. And that's kind of why we have the little image of the Marushka dolls there. But anyway, so let's look at the key considerations. This design challenge will have 3 key considerations. The first and the most important is the distance between the barge and the shoreline. So when this barge is in Iquitos for the whole development of the from up until version 2, it will then start to move. And when it starts to move, we're going to have to take into account water levels. We're going to have to take into account which communities we're going to go to. And this, with a successful design or successful solution to this challenge, we should be able to catch a majority of communities. We don't want to exclude people because we don't have enough. We didn't design a successful system to enable different docking situations, for example. So on consideration A is a small watercraft of 4 to 6 people and a floatable bridge element. I think at this stage we can kind of find a solution for the system, And then in the next stage, it could possibly the people who successfully answer or have the solution can kind of be put in touch with a case study. The key consideration B is the physical engagement between the Floating Fab Lab project and the community. This could be as simple as a poster that's put up on a wall to what every single vessel does when it docks and engages with the shore, is that you always have a contact point or a way to get the people coming onto the boat. Because the reality is that everyone can come onto the boat, but there is always a gating system because the weight and distribution of the boat not equal, and 100 screaming children running onto the Faba Flotante is going to be an amazing sight to see. But we kind of need to realize that we got to gauge this somehow. But then these become structures which touch the earth of these remote communities, and these structures, the people, when answering the solution to this challenge, must be kind of approaching this from a temporary and permanent standpoint, because a lot of these things, when the Floating Fab Lab project moves on, we should be asking the question: does the whole project move on, or do some parts stay behind? I guess to have a lasting influence or the impact of our project will be the long-term impact on these communities. So it's a very, very difficult challenge, this one. Okay, so basically this challenge also is very participatory and collaborative. Really is about how we design the solution, but also how we engage the remote community. And so I guess this is what leads to the second stage of a case study, which the Floating Fab organization would work over the next couple of weeks to locate one. The next slide. Okay, so basically that's the challenges. Thank you very much for your attention. We're just going to have a few slight little guidelines and an assessment criteria on this slide and the next. It's quite explanatory in the fact that we would like these challenges to be Fab Lab based. I think the direction of the research group. Hello? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Just repeat the last 3 seconds.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Yep. So these design guidelines.
Yeah, it was just the last 30 seconds.
Okay. Cool. So the way that we're trying to move the research groups and what we'll be opening these challenges is to the whole Fab Lab network, in which these design challenges and the way we see the project moving is going to be Fab Lab based. I think you guys all are connected to a Fab Lab, so it's great, but there's also been a lot of people coming onto the project as individuals and interested to collaborate, and that's our intention in the organization to link always centered around a Fab Lab, because we want to empower you guys as Fab Lab leaders, in all of this. This is the Floating Fab Lab project. We really need to orientate the strengths of the people participating in this process, and having a Fab Lab at your disposal is the strongest point. Okay, so basically the focus is on design solutions. This ongoing collaboration with us in the development of the design of the physical components of this project really is about how you successfully complete this challenge. It's not to say that we're assessing this in you pass or fail. It's not that scenario. What is the scenario is that we need to gauge about how we work together, as a team. And for example, if Caco's team is like the most amazing prototypers in Latin America, then we need to know this in this stage. And if Ilaria's team is the best at communicating design solutions, we need to know about this now, and we can kind of kind of work, it's kind of a team, this is meant to be taken as a team building exercise. The fourth point is just about when we'll be available. So Nicholas, myself, Juanes and Fred, we will be available at 4 p.m. BCN time, Tuesday and Thursday. But we're also available, more so, but this is when we will definitely be available, in which we can kind of work with you guys, for answering any questions or to really drive the project forward, because the goal is number 5. It's one-to-one prototypes for Fab 11. The final slide. So I'll stop talking soon, guys. Thank
Sí,
you.
yo les quisiera comentar también algo, es que bueno, pues ¿ah? Lo otro que les quería comentar es que bueno, que todos tenemos acceso. Yeah, just a little comment. Es que todos tenemos acceso, digamos que al Fab Lab, al Makerspace, algunas máquinas, entonces yo creo que eso nos facilitaría un poco digamos, el prototipado rápido de algún elemento. La idea es que, como es poco tiempo, serían alrededor de 10 días que duraría el reto, o sea que tendría que ser muy específico, enfocarse a algo muy, muy específico y tratar de prototiparlo. No sé, ¿tienen alguna pregunta, algún comentario? Caco nos quiere presentar algo, pero esperemos a ver si hay algún comentario, una pregunta, y si no, seguimos con Caco. No, sigue tú, entonces.
That's fine. Here's Caco.
No, yo sí quería comentar de la presentación, me parece, o sea, súper bueno cómo han logrado traducir los conceptos de una forma visual y estrategias de diseño muy puntuales, que creo que era lo que se necesitaba como un roadmap, digamos, para ir ejecutando las líneas por componente, por así decirlo. Entonces creo yo que esa presentación al final de cuentas se convierte en el plan de trabajo, de alguna manera. Hay que traducirlo todavía en días y todo, pero ya está como el algoritmo, la lógica de trabajo. Yo lo que quería presentarles es un avance que, aprovechando estas semanas, que creo que también los demás estuvieron ocupados en otras actividades, y acá en El Salvador con Emilio Vélez, él es ingeniero industrial, estuvimos trabajando sobre todo en revisar todo el Evernote y tratar de hacer una síntesis. Entonces quería compartirles mi pantalla, les voy a mandar por correo también la información, los editables y todo, pero hicimos una matriz similar a la que tuvimos la oportunidad de trabajar en el 2013 en el FLOC, estar, digamos que colaborando en el Free Libre Open Knowledge en Quito, y lo que se hicieron ahí fueron como streams de una investigación bastante amplia por streams o líneas de investigación. Entonces les voy a... Me dicen si aparece la pantalla. No sé si se mira la pantalla, Juanes.
Sí, ya se ve, Caco.
Ok, la imagen es bien grande, por eso voy a mandarles el ilustrador que hicimos, pero está en inglés, y la idea es poder, en base a esta matriz de 4 ejes, poder resumir qué fue el startup, el Startup Workshop que se hizo en diciembre, noviembre y diciembre, y lo que hemos, bueno, esto con Emilio se ha venido trabajando, fueron digamos, el factor humano, el factor que no es humano, el factor tecnológico y el factor biológico. Entonces, la forma de leer de alguna manera esta matriz, o digamos, nosotros le hemos llamado el Research Plan, que podría ser cómo se definen estos ejes, que son los mismos que Benito desde el inicio ha ido compartiéndonos, ¿no? Desde las primeras presentaciones del Startup Workshop se hablaba de ecofabricación. Nosotros hemos puesto entre el área tecnológica y humana, la red mundial, o los proyectos que se pueden dar dentro de la red mundial colaborativa de los Fab Labs, artesanía digital entre la parte humana y biológica, digamos, y la parte, digamos, que se encuentra en el medio entre esta parte de acá, que sería la parte de biotecnologías, oportunidades de biotecnologías. Entonces, ahí ponemos nosotros al centro los impactos, en un cuadrante más lejano los resultados, y estos que serían ya de alguna forma tópicos que nos llevan a necesidades. Entonces, acá, por ejemplo, si vemos esta parte, este cuadrante entre la red mundial y la ecofabricación, el impacto es que pudiendo incorporar, por ejemplo, Internet de las Cosas con las tecnologías de la industria del Amazonas, ahí se podría empezar a generar una producción, digamos, más sostenible, tecnologías apropiadas es el resultado, y estos cuadrantes son los resultados, digamos, a los que se quiere llegar. Voy a acercarme a cada uno de los resultados. Acá, por ejemplo, entre la red mundial, ¿sí? Se perdió la imagen, Juanes, ¿no?
No, está bien.
Sí, por un segundo, pero ya volvió.
Ah, ok, es que como estoy haciendo zoom quizás. Entonces está, digamos, la experiencia personal de cada laboratorio, que por ejemplo cuando mencionaba James de cómo Fab Lab Argentina podría tener una implicación en el tema de los empalmes, de los cables, o de los sistemas, digamos, cómo cada Fab Lab contribuye, ¿no? Y esa experiencia también de investigadores que van a estar llegando tiene que ver con esta comunidad global. Entonces, no voy a explicar tan a detenimiento porque la idea es como estudiarlo, ¿no? Ahí hemos tratado de, bueno, trabajamos varios días en lograr la síntesis, y lo importante de este diagrama son estos 4 ejes, donde nosotros hemos ido dejando como un statement en cada, entre la parte tecnológica y humana. Acá hay un statement de cómo creemos nosotros que se tiene que focalizar, y igual en los 4 ejes. Entonces, en conclusión, lo que nosotros queríamos era, sabíamos que hay bastantes arquitectos dentro del equipo. Emilio es ingeniero industrial, y bueno, en mi parte también el tema de la sistematización de los procesos siempre ha sido algo que me apasiona, porque creo que ahí se resumen bastante los esfuerzos y a veces pueden ser más estratégicos. Entonces, este es un aporte que no sabemos si estamos en lo correcto o no estamos en lo correcto, pero queríamos compartirlo, porque creemos que los cuadrantes son bastante, digamos, oportunos en los conceptos que van sintetizando de alguna manera, porque la capa arquitectónica o de diseño es una nada más. Va a haber capas de desarrollo comunitario, como esta, que tiene que ver entre lo biológico y lo humano, el tema de la red mundial y cómo todo esto tiene que ver con las visitas que va a recibir y cómo la gente de la comunidad local va a recibir estos extranjeros, el tema de tecnologías apropiadas y cómo eso puede, con los recursos tecnológicos locales, hibridizarse, y por otro lado toda la biointeligencia de la Amazonía, que genera oportunidades de estudio en temas de biodiversidad. Entonces, bueno, esta era una imagen, y la otra imagen que tiene que ver más con, por ejemplo, cómo se genera el diseño industrial de plantas. Entonces hay todo, bueno, ahí Emilio ahorita no puede hablar porque está en el trabajo, solo está escuchando, pero él decía que esto era importante en tener muy claros cuáles son los inputs y los outputs, ¿no? En temas que, por ejemplo, en la investigación del Startup Workshop fuimos haciendo, de la tripulación, de cómo la tripulación, o sea, ya un análisis un poco más pormenorizado, que tiene que ver con el entrenamiento, con todo como un manual de operaciones, por así decirlo, que va a ser una capa mucho más adelante, pero si la vamos viendo poco a poco desde el diseño, creo yo que es más pertinente, porque ya estamos preparándonos también a lo que va a ser la vida real en la logística, de la infraestructura, las operaciones, la maquinaria, el mantenimiento, los programas educacionales, las investigaciones, qué líneas de investigaciones. Es decir, hay una matriz de variables que se abre, y acá le hemos tratado de sintetizar en función de todo lo que vimos en el Evernote. Y bueno, yo voy a enviar esto ahorita mismo por correo a todos, en ese correo que estamos. Entonces, nada, solo queríamos compartirlo así, un poco verbalizarlo, pero creería yo que el UA y todos los demás, obviamente, puedan revisarlo. Solo son 2 imágenes, y también dar sus aportes, y nosotros lo pasamos en limpio o lo metemos ya a otro tipo de formato. Entonces, eso era lo que queríamos compartir con todos, de los avances que hemos hecho, Juanes, James, todos.
Fantastic, Kako.
Gracias.
No, buenísimo. Ahorita se los comparto, más bien.
I think sorry, I speak in English. It's 11 o'clock here at the end of my day. But no, I think it's it's important what you're doing, Kako, to review where we were at with the workshop, and because what's become very apparent is that this is a research and development project.
Okay.
I mean, it is. I mean, we're going to do research through making. Probably at the same time where we're doing research through studying, and I think it's very important to to present at Fab 11 the physical things that we're making, and also the research objectives that need to run in parallel.
Excellent. We share with us, and we hope the comments about this matrix of the research. And I think Benno works a lot in the system of this research, and maybe if you can review that, Benno, and also comment about that. It's important for us. We want to work in this sense and approach in the diagrams about the research, and work a lot to como profundizar en estos temas.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's very important that it's complementary. These type of efforts, for sure, because I think that you guys know our projects. We're in the UA. We're more about building. Let's just go make it. And I think it's very important. Like Miguel can't join us. He's in Costa Rica at the moment. And I think that in a week or two, like maybe we're working together, Kako, we can. Emilio said something. Yes, perfect. Yeah, draft of a full design that can push further into a more complete budget for the lab. No, exactly right. Because what we need to show to the people, like the next stage of the people, once we identify the people who are interested and can and want to invest themselves or their money or their company into the project, we need to present a platform. The next stage for that is to present a platform in which, when their money comes to us, where does it go? How is it going to be matriculated down into this research and development project, where we have very specific points of realizing the building of the project. And I think with Miguel, I'm not sure, I think all of you know Miguel from the workshop, but he is in charge of research and development projects for Endesa, the electrical company here, which he heads the innovation department on big research projects in which we envisage this becoming. So maybe you need to fly to Costa Rica, Kako, and you can grab Miguel.
Yeah, Robert said me yesterday he stayed with Miguel at the night, and I think maybe tomorrow I try to make a hangout with Miguel. I don't know if I can fly to Costa Rica now, because we have a lot of work now in the office. But I try to call with Miguel to show this matrix of the research plan and talk with him about what is the opinion of him is important also.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's it'll be a great thing to have that chat. I'm here available if we pick a time which I can join. It would be good. I mean, I can join anytime during the day. Past this point is a little bit touch and go because it's almost midnight here. But for sure, Kako, we're at your disposal.
Okay, perfect, James. Perfect. One question, Juanes. The next meeting is Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Barcelona, no?
No. The James is gonna be well. The whole team is gonna be available after 4 p.m. Barcelona time. But I think we can keep the meetings on Friday. And Friday's 3:30.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I guess if you keep the meeting, we can meet all together on Friday. We just say Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
It will just be first come, first serve. So just email us. Just definitely just email us, and we will set a schedule which we can block, say, 20 to 30 minutes, depending. I mean, who wants to meet with us and how often. I mean, we are here available for developing the project. So just speak with us, and we'll arrange the schedule.
Okay.
Cool. Chicos, ¿ustedes tienen alguna pregunta? Caco, Marlon, Hilaria, Diego, Meno. ¿Está claro?
Sorry, I just like to say one more thing, that you can, if you guys want to email us about what interests you, definitely do that as soon as you can. Okay?
Maestro,
Yeah,
bueno. Yeah, continue, James.
No, I was going to say, I was just writing it actually. If you can email us which challenges you want to take on. I think it's just, I mean, the thing is that the challenges are quite small. I mean, we wanted to make something not such a huge ordeal, but if you guys are capable of doing more challenges, definitely do it. But I would just say that if you have little time, or you don't have a big team or something, just focus on the one which you really think that you can investigate quite thoroughly, because really on the 22nd of this month, we want to be able to work with you to really develop, you know, a prototyping schedule in which you can come to Fab 11, or you could send the files to us in Boston, because the UA team will be in Boston a full month before the Fab 11 conference starts, and so we'll be able to kind of work together a little bit with some of you who can't come to Boston to, you know, to make these prototypes.
Sí, yo quisiera añadir como que, bueno, este es el último trabajo que se hace de producción, ya el resto es mostrar, ¿cierto? Este es, digamos, el último paso que vamos a dar en diseño, y ya el resto nos vamos a enfocar es a mostrar para el Fab 11.
Una pregunta o a question. The day of final review of design is 22 of June.
Yeah, from the challenges, yes, on the 22nd. I don't think it would be the final review. It would just be, say, the submission of them, and then we can kind of work. I think, what day is that? What is the 22nd of June? It's a Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Monday. So I guess that will give us, so at the Friday meeting on the 26th, that will give us enough time to meet with you guys individually to talk about the you know, whatever was produced, and then on the 26th we can come up with the next stage or the next plan.
And another things, like we can choose one of the 5 points that we feel more comfortable, or how's it the
you could choose
that everybody works on the 5 points, or that every group can choose one part and
exactly. It's if you put in priority, it's a very good point, Eladia. Because, you know, we can have more than one group working on one point. Obviously, we are only 4 groups here, no, or 5 groups. Yeah, I think 4 to 5 groups here. So I think the most important is just to put which ones you feel comfortable doing. If you have a larger team, Eladia, and you can do 2 or 3, just pick the 2 or 3 that, you know, best represents your technical and skill level. I guess that'd be great.
I cannot promise nothing because I have to schedule all this with my team. It's just to know if we are must conform to work in one things or different, or I want just know if this. But I mean, yes, I understood.
Yeah, perfect. I think Benno, you there?
Yes.
I think the most important thing is that we need to schedule a meeting with the people not here from the FabLats network, in which we can try and transmit this information also.
Yes. Sorry, I offered to you to send my first inputs yesterday, but I couldn't. But I have some draft graphics here, and in order, first I want to say thank you, James, thank you, UA Buroni, James, Juanes, and everybody to be here. This is a big challenge for the time that we have, but I know we can do it. And also, it's very important all the line that you share us, the line of design, the challenge. I would like to share some inputs about the Amazon. What's the Amazon, the context, and what is the Amazon challenge plus the design challenge? In this sense, I don't know if we have time. I mean, I need 10 minutes more or less. Do you have time, friends? No.
Yeah, you have 7.45 minutes, Benno.
Okay. Just to share something super fast.
No worries.
I will share you my desktop. I'm sorry.
Nice soundtrack.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. That's,
There is my one friend here. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, can you see my desktop?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, this is, well, according to do you remember the network that we have, all the components and the relationship between the components and the context? These are the contexts. Sorry. And the others are the context and components. How could we empower the proposal that you make, with these variables? For example, the first challenge, of course, is how to move it. If we want to make something independent, yes, we could use in the jungle the external motor, external boat to move the big boat, but I think it's more expensive at the end, because to rent this kind of motors, it's more expensive than have incorporated. So in this sense, it's important to consider in the original size the area for the movement and the motors. This is optional, the second one. If we are thinking in something to move in the water or on the water, maybe we could consider the redesign of the platform and redesign also the structure. Yes, for the original structure, this is how it works. The traditional structure for this kind of platform, but maybe with less investment. Because we was talking about the possibility to create something like more a catamaran, create parallel or not all the platform, just some parts, and the other we could just sell. So what is the goal with this one? Because we could make this easier and faster than the other system. Well, this is optional. This is like just an idea. It's not. But the other important thing is how it will work in modular sense, no? How it will report modularity. Of course, with the system of the proposal that you have, I think it's concentrated in the module itself, but it's not. We have to work also in the connection with the context, in the connection with another modules, and also in the connection with the environment. So in this sense, I saw one. Let me. Oh, well. I saw one also image from the presentation that you shared me. One image I think was the Nick's proposal, something like that, no? To have the platform at something in the middle and something around these ones. No? I think, well, this is how in the jungle works, no? Because you have the environment. This is talking about the internal distribution. Yes, I know this is just an idea that to put many different components, no, one together with the others, etc. Also, we could start to think about the internal distribution. We want to make it efficient. In this sense, I like the idea to make something modular with a Fab Lab. Let me bring it as you propose. Let me see. And for the Fab Lab, we need a very compact structure. The question is, which is the minimal space that we need for the Fab Lab, no? In order to design a structure that could also works adapted to the platform and create different activities around. No? So I was thinking about these ideas, and let me show you a very fast presentation about it. Well, first idea is how to connect the flooring Fab Lab with the context. How to integrate, for example, the river, the flow of the river, the rain, and the sun, no, to the context. So the first idea is how to create like a big flow, no, the flooring Fab Lab as a big flow. So in this sense, one of the reference in the jungle is the Maloca, no? As you remember, is this structure like that, so that has to support a lot of rain, no? And usually this is minimal 45 degrees, no? In the covers. The covers are like that, no? So this is very important, because if we are thinking in this kind of cover, no, we really have to think a very strong cover, no? The rain is super hard, no, in the jungle. Okay, so the first idea that I was thinking about is create a big structure like a big Maloca made with floating with a digital fabrication, the platform that could move, and that's it, no? And the idea is to renovate this structure each 2 years. It's more or less the lifetime that this kind of structures have in the jungle, no? Each 2 years, people are changing totally. Well, at the base, well, this is the basic strategy, no, to create this kind of small platforms, joinings. And here we have the bridge, the command room, and here we have the motors, and this is the other small platforms.
Benno, we don't see your desktop.
Yeah.
No? I'm sorry. Let me see. Un momento, maestro, a ver, perdona. ¿No? ¿No he visto nada?
No, todavía no.
Ups. ¿Y ahora?
Nada.
Está cargando, parece. Ahora sí.
Ahora sí.
Ok, disculpen, bueno, les explico nuevamente rápido. Nada. Lo siento. Gracias, Caco.
No.
Gracias, Caco. Bueno, rápidamente, el primer concepto, James nos ha presentado los desafíos de diseño. A mí me gustaría compartirles los desafíos del contexto. un primer input sobre el contexto es cómo incorporar el flujo de los recursos locales dentro del proyecto, ¿no? Sin que necesariamente eso signifique mayor gasto, mayor inversión, todo lo contrario, ¿no? Para hacerlo más eficiente. Entonces, un primer referente es la Maloca, ¿no? La Maloca, les comentaba, bueno, es la estructura tradicional de la Amazonía, que se pueden hacer grandes luces con su sistema, y tiene una gran pendiente por el tema de la lluvia. Entonces es importante que se piense el FAB flotante realmente con una cobertura que pueda garantizar que nada se va a mojar adentro, ¿no? Entonces, el tema de la cobertura es súper importante. Y en este caso, bueno, antes de llegar de esta forma les estaba comentando que si bien esta es la estructura convencional, ¿no?, que encontramos en la selva, probablemente sea el plan A, ¿no?, tener una plataforma que la podemos encontrar y ya está. Podríamos tener como una alternativa, ¿no?, la posibilidad de construir algo que se hace con módulos menores, ¿no? Es decir, con plataformas que se van uniendo, pero son más pequeñas, como si fuera un catamarán, y después se genera otra plataforma mayor y ya está todo unido, ¿no? Y creamos otro tipo de configuración, sobre todo pensando en darle mayor fluidez y en la modularidad de la estructura. Ahora sí ven mi pantalla, ¿verdad?
Sí, 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 sí.
Genial. Entonces, esto era un poco lo que les comentaba, ¿no? En lugar de construir una gran plataforma y todo lleno, construir pequeñas plataformas, unirlas, ¿no?, y crear otro tipo de configuraciones. Es más, en la selva ya lo hacen, utilizan grandes canoas que las unen con maderas y aquí transportan carros, combis, o bueno, en pequeños camiones, ¿no? Ya lo generan, ¿no? Es un sistema que ya se da.
Bueno, ¿puedo una pregunta?
Por favor.
De esta plataforma que vos estás hablando, ¿lo pensás como hablando en 30 metros por 10?
Sí.
Como la presentación que mostraron.
Exacto.
30 por 10.
Sí, esa es la referencia.
Ok.
Sí. Bueno, perdón. O sea, no es una plataforma pequeña, hay plataformas gigantes que se hacen con ese sistema, ¿no? O sea, esto de acá será pues 10 y esto de acá será 20, ¿no?
Benno, I think you missed the start of a presentation in which what you're illustrating here is great. We kind of just put this as like the second stage. So I think Fred, have you shared the presentation with everyone?
No.
Well, we'll share the presentation now, and the first few slides addresses what we talked about actually the other day, Benno, about these different hulls and bridging towards them.
I'm sorry, Marcelo?
No, I'm just saying that the we put that conversation we had with you into like a little some diagrams at the start of our presentation, saying that, you know, the potential for developing like the final real boat would be, you know, what you just presented, you know, creating hulls or multiple hulls and bridging between them.
Okay.
But anyway, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I think they're all very important factors that you've illustrated there, Benno. I really think that with you know, with the, you know, the departure point from or the design solutions that we provide, I think it's important to have that in mind about, you know, how this evolves not just on the barge, but how, you know, these things that we're doing, it can really evolve once we discover, you know, like you know, the technology available to us. And I think it's very, very realistic. You know, we can reach a very new revolutionary boat design. I really think that it's within our grasp. Maybe a few years away, but definitely within our grasp.
Yeah. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, I shared the presentation by email.
Excellent. Thank you, Master. Well, just to share some challenge in the direction of UA share us. No? Another important thing is perdón, cómo eso está organizado, ¿no? Entonces, cómo es importante el tema de la seguridad en la Amazonía. Si pudiéramos minimizar todas las máquinas para tenerlos en el menor espacio posible y dejar todo lo demás libre, eso es importante, ¿no? Porque si tenemos todo abierto, es muy probable que la gente entre, lo tome y se lo lleve, ¿no? Y es bien difícil tener control, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, una posibilidad es compactar todo el laboratorio y que se deje la mayor cantidad de área libre para que las personas puedan no solamente tener los talleres y mayor libertad de talleres, sino también aprovechar la conexión con el Amazonas. O sea, tienes 360 grados de río, ¿no? Bueno, esto es lo mismo.
Benno, before you came, I just to interject here, because what I did say to the group beforehand, I just don't want to complicate the the direction that we're giving on the project, is that we said that this from the 9th to the 22nd will be these kind of the solutions to those challenges, because the second part of this would be addressing the things that you're showing now. I'm just worried that if we address all the challenges at the same time, there wouldn't be enough time for the groups to respond properly.
Yes, just to present an overview, and finally
okay.
I will.
Okay. No. Okay. Cool.
You maybe the most important items that we could really focus, no, something like that. Well, this is another important. Another context challenge is how to connect the laboratory with the environment, no? In all the activities, no? And how to compact all the Fab Lab in order to save machines and people, etc. That's another important challenge. Of course, thinking about systems. I started with a file, with an image, talking about how to connect the river with a bowl. No? For example, we can use a sample system to take the water of the river in order to refresh the structure or the skin. This is very, very important because we don't want to use active heating systems. No, we would like to use natural. So of course we have the wind, but maybe we could use also the water. No? And also we could start to see where can we put the solar panels. No? That is the more efficient system for our power. No? This is the other, no? How could we use or where could we place the solar panels in the project? Which is the power or the consumption, the total consumption of the project? It's also important to calculate. This is for our friend Miguel. Another input about how to grow. No? You know, in the jungle, it's something similar that. In the cities, no? People start with basic structures and then create second floors and they expand in horizontal, no? They change materials, etc. No? There is an interesting growing system. So another interesting challenge could be how to design a replicator. No? This first laboratory itself, it's a replicator. No? It's thinking about a structure that could replicate another structures similar than them. No? And then for example, if we think the structure as small pieces that we could connect between them, we could replicate these ones, and at the end we could use these ones to assemble another board, no? Something like that. Well, yeah, don't say me nothing, please. It's just like a dream. But I like the idea to incorporate inside the first version of the boat some specific tools that will help us to create more modules, more big modules. No? For example, how do you say grúa?
Crane.
Exactly, no? That, something like that. Or maybe not a small CNC.
Crane.
Maybe we could. I'm sorry. Okay. Maybe we could use.
It's called crane.
Crane. Exactly. Thank you. We could use for example, if we are. Sorry. If we are thinking about the platform, this platform could have in a important area CNC area, no? Or a flexible CNC that we could assemble it and disassemble it. We need just 2 axes, no? And with this one we could start to replicate more pieces and more modules, no? But the first floating fab is thinking as a replicator, no? I don't know if I have more. Well, no, that's it. No, that's it. Well, I will put it in black and white and send you. But there's are some inputs about the context. No, that's it. Thank you.
Great.
Cool, Venom.
All right. It is 20 minutes to midnight here in Barcelona. I will need to say ciao for sure. I think we got through a lot. One is to see that you gave a Google form.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I just yeah.
Perfect.
Sorry, just to end this big Hangouts, I want just to say if it's possible, because from what I understand, I have a lot of idea and things and thoughts to think about to develop this project. It will be possible if in Fab 11 we can do big workshops like smart geometry style with different cluster of problematic or idea of scaling structure and blah blah blah, with each one has a group of this cluster and then develop the scale one by one in Fab 11, because I see that it's like the time it's very few to develop all these topics. So
yeah, Elaria, I think I'll have to just interject here that you know, what we've tried to be here is to be very straightforward. Is that I do understand that, you know, it would be great to have something like this. The only thing is that the most important thing for the project at the moment is that we arrive to Fab 11 with something that is realistic to do. It's mainly because that the platform at Fab 11 really is to engage investors with the project. And so if this exercise, I mean, we can think about it a bit more, but if this exercise can enable that, then maybe we can bring the investors or the people representing these different companies into our process. That could be good also. But what we will be releasing in a week or something like this is quite a large format to work with all of you in a more real sense, and which it's not so much the overarching project, but we'll be opening up the design build of an installation which fuses all the different components of the Floating Fab Lab project together in an installation.
okay.
And we'll send this in a week, but it's kind of like this thing is kind of like a team building exercise. This installation amongst us, in which we can kind of work. It's also about developing some things before Fab 11, and then when we come to Fab 11, we can prototype them straight away on this installation.
Okay.
Yo quería comentar algo, lo voy a hacer en español, más fácil. Creo que ambas presentaciones, tanto la del UA, donde vimos todo bastante sistematizado y como con todas las capas y las variables muy claras, y también ver la otra presentación, quizá un poco más caótica, de Benno, pero donde hay muchos valores, porque Benno es de la selva y aparte ha estado investigando mucho tiempo en la selva. Creo que compaginar ambas visiones es el camino y es parte, digamos, de lo que más va a ser un poco más difícil. Y creo que en una aproximación, el esquema número 1 que Frederick nos exponía era por stage, o sea, como por ver la parte evolutiva del proyecto y contarla de esa manera, porque tal vez al inicio va a ser un poco más rígida la estructura, pero que eso está diseñado para crecer y volverse en flujo y más orgánica con el Amazonas, con el contexto y las variables del lugar, eso que lo tengamos bien definido, porque si no vamos a hacer como etapas de acá el 22 de junio y una segunda etapa de pronto se va a tener que incorporar otras condiciones y puede ser como caótica. Entonces, tener claro que va a ir evolucionando en el tiempo y que tal vez por el deadline que tenemos para el Fab 11, que es corto, se pueda hacer como lo más realista, tal vez, como decía, yo sí comparto esa visión, pero sin olvidar los conceptos que Benno también nos ha compartido, porque en pruebas hidrodinámicas lo hemos visualizado acá, y de hecho la opción que mencionaba Benno es la más hidrodinámicamente la mejor, y eso, o sea, a nivel de investigación tiene mucho valor, pero cómo hacerlo es más difícil. Entonces, ir como de la mano las dos cosas, creo yo que es necesario que tal vez pueda meterse, ya cuando haga la presentación Benito, ver cómo se compaginan parámetros.
Super, Caco. Y también me gustaría incorporar la presentación que tú desarrollaste sobre las líneas de investigación. En realidad una línea muy importante de investigación es la infraestructura en sí, ¿no? Entonces, que va de la mano con lo que está mencionando Hilaria. Es decir, esto no termina con esta parte, en realidad es la semilla. Y una de las líneas de investigación es ecoconstrucción o construcción sostenible desde el Amazonas. Entonces, si hay un grupo que esté interesado, para el Fab 11 hay, digamos, el principal interés es poder conseguir a los aliados que permitan hacer este proyecto realidad. Si una estrategia importante es hacer un taller, pues genial, lo hacemos, ¿no? La idea tampoco es disipar mucha energía, ¿no? Porque lo vamos a necesitar, como decía Jay, para el módulo y de pronto para las presentaciones. Pero si hay esa oportunidad o ese interés, lo podemos gestar, lo podemos coordinar, ¿no? Genial.
Okay, well, I mean, I definitely agree with what Kako and Benno are discussing. I think that in the next, as I said, there we have 6 weeks to do. I mean, even developing that in the full-time work of 2 people for 3 to 4 weeks. The amount of work that goes into communicating something very simply, very clearly, is the biggest challenge ahead of us. And I think that we should all just think about this this next couple of weeks, and hopefully we can come with a strategy. Because I guess the challenge to be able to describe this project in as little words and as images as possible. Because at the end of the day, the people with their pockets full have a window of 2 to 3 minutes attention span to engage with our project. It's just a comment.
Yes. So maybe this Thursday we could meet in order to. Well, first, I think it's important for you all guys, review all the information. And for this Tuesday, maybe we could share the first idea about how could you be part of the different parts of the project, no? Which area would you like to develop, and start to work together, no?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if one has sent a Google document, or you haven't sent it yet, one is you're going to send it?
Yeah, I haven't sent it yet, but I'll do it. Yes. Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. So I guess the first step is that we need to make a meeting with the people that were missing from this presentation. send them as much information as possible and possibly organize another meeting to transmit the information. And then, yeah, then it's what's today? Today is Wednesday? Tuesday, sorry.
Tuesday.
And I guess we continue to meet on Friday, yeah, as well, for the big group?
Yeah, 3:30 Friday.
Okay, perfect. So I guess we'll be in touch tomorrow and we'll start to organize the groups and things like this.
For sure.
Okay, cool. All right,
okay, guys.
It's been great.
Muchas gracias, maestros.
Buenas noches.
Gracias.
Chao a todos.
Bye bye, chao.
Bye.
Chao.
A todos,
Chao.
gracias. Nos vemos. Bye.
Chao.
Chao.
Chao, gracias.
Chao.
¿Qué tal, Master?
Muy bien, ¿cómo le va, doctor? ¿Qué dice la entrega de la Academy?
Muy bien. Bien, ya en la recta final.
Claro.
Ya, sí, con sus pocas... Uy, ¿qué estás tomando?
Miel de abeja.
Ah, ¿y estás enfermo o o es
No es
para...
para es demasiado dulce, pero bueno. Y es bueno, es lo
Sí,
que tomaba cuando era chico.
Ah, es para mantenerse sano.
Sí, bueno, así es. Sobre todo para los resfríos, es muy bueno.
Sí. Ah, bueno, ¿y qué tal?
Bien, aquí correteando, viendo una cosa y otra, pero todo tranquilo, felizmente.
Ah, qué bien, bueno, me alegra mucho. ¿Y qué tal estuvo Sudáfrica?
Espectacular, realmente una experiencia muy enriquecedora. No esperaba hacer un taller para niños, pero se dio
Ajá.
y en un día hicimos un carro para los niñitos, ¿no?
Ah, sí,
Ya-
qué bien.
sí,
Qué
estuvo muy
bien,
bueno.
qué bien.
Ah,
Nosotros
maestro,
también tuvimos una...
no sé si, aprovechando tu gentileza, no sé si estás con tiempo para crear el grupo WhatsApp del Amazon.
Sí, por supuesto. Yo les envío un spreadsheet para que anexen sus... Ah, no, nosotros tenemos los números. No, tenemos la base de datos.
Creo que sí, debe estar. No, no estoy seguro si están sus teléfonos. Tal vez podrías armar
Ah,
algo
ok, sí, claro.
como en el mismo drive que les
Un
compartí,
spreadsheet.
pedir que ahí coloquen sus datos.
Sí, claro, de una master.
Buenísimo. Oye,
Lo que tenemos es que el otro
sí, dale.
equipo... Ah, no, sí, no, era que tenemos que ver cómo integramos al resto de los otros integrantes, de los que hicieron parte, pues, yo creo que tenemos que hacer una segunda reunión con ellos y, bueno, explicarle lo mismo y, bueno, pues, no sé si enviarles el video, no sé, ¿tú qué piensas? ¿Será mejor? Yo creo que es mejor reunirse con ellos.
Les podemos escribir para ver quiénes están interesados y hacer una cita la próxima semana, o si se puede esta misma semana, o que se sumen pero lo que pasa es que ya mucha gente no entra en el Hangout. Tendríamos que migrar de sistema.
Ok.
Podríamos mandar un correo para preguntarles quiénes están interesados y que la próxima semana nos podemos reunir por un lado, pero por otro lado, según los que estén interesados, por ejemplo, hay varios de Lima, en ese correo que te mandé, yo podría convocarlos y ver con ellos ya localmente, ¿no? Si hay gente,
Ok, súper.
pero no sé si funcione para las otras ciudades, porque hay en Estados Unidos. Lo que podríamos hacer es que según su interés se conecten con algún coordinador. Digamos, los que han participado ahora serían como los coordinadores principales.
Sí.
Según las áreas de interés, por ejemplo, no sé, Hilaria tal vez está trabajando mucho con pieles, ¿no? Caco estuvo trabajando con la base
Ajá.
pulgar. En fin, no sé si Robert, por ejemplo, también con la estructura o algo así. Entonces, podemos, según las líneas de interés, identificar quiénes serían los coordinadores por cada tópico y en base a eso conectar a los nuevos que se sumarían, para no tener a tanta gente en una sola reunión y hacerlo mucho más
Exacto.
específico.
Sí, o hacer una selección, o bueno, no sé. Bueno, no sé, lo tenemos que pensar bien porque creo que falta alrededor de la mitad. Bueno, no, faltan... No, de hecho todo Suramérica está... Falta es México.
En realidad habían como 5 al inicio. Hay muchísima gente detrás.
Sí.
Creo que sería bueno, si quieres nos reunimos otro día para pensar en la estrategia, y con Caco, que Caco es un especialista en la materia, la estrategia de crear comunidad, generar roles, porque los roles no solamente tienen que venir del lado de la infraestructura, pueden venir de hacer un video, de promocionar algo, de compartir cosas, en fin, ¿no? Hay tantas, de ver la parte del crowdfunding, no sé. Pues todos esos ítems,
claro,
podríamos armar un juego de roles y desde ahí empezar a conectar a la gente, ¿no?
Sí, sí, sí.
La comunidad Fab Amazonas, la comunidad Floating Fab. Sí. Uy,
Ok,
perdóname.
excelente.
Dame un instante, por favor. ¿Aló? ¿Hola? Ok, bueno, se fue. Muy bien, maestro.
Muy bien,
¿Cuándo
bueno.
bien para verlo?
No sé, cualquier momento esta semana. Mañana por la tarde voy a estar algo ocupado, pero de resto estoy con buena disponibilidad. Hola,
¿Aló,
¿me
aló?
oyes? Sí, ¿me oyes? Hola, hola. Hola.
Sí,
¿Me
te
oyes?
escucho. Sí, sí, sí.
Ajá, era el celular. No, tengo una disponibilidad esta semana. Solamente mañana pues tengo Fab Academy en la mañana y bueno, en la tarde tengo un par de reuniones, no más.
Excelente. Ya pues, buenísimo. Entonces, el jueves el viernes hemos quedado ¿a qué hora, perdón?
No, el viernes a las 3:30.
Si quieres, el viernes en la mañana nos podemos reunir para verlo. Uy,
Ok,
dame un instante.
me parece.
Dame un instante. ¿Aló? ¿Hola, Nico? Bueno, no sé, tiene problema. Ok, entonces viernes o al mediodía tal vez.
Sí, está bien.
Puede ser viernes al mediodía. Ya.
Pues,
Listo, maestro.
vale.
Cualquier cosa ahí estamos. Oye,
Muy
nada,
bien,
lo que
maestro.
quería que felicitaciones, la verdad que lo que me ha comentado Vanessa, ¿no? Después de su visita es que verte ahí involucrado con el Fabla, con toda la gente, ha sido como así inspirador para ella y que le estás poniendo mucha energía, muchas ganas, estás moviendo muchas cosas, ¿no? Yo sé que no es fácil, sobre todo cuando se está con una universidad pública, ¿no? Como en general en Latinoamérica, pero qué
Sí.
bueno que estés moviendo tantas cosas ahí. Felicitaciones, maestro.
Gracias, Ben. Ojalá vengan muchas cosas más. Solo necesitamos dinero, porque las ganas y la gente están. Falta lo más fácil.
Así es, exactamente. Muy bien, maestro. Un fuerte
Exactamente.
abrazo. Gracias.
Un fuerte abrazo, maestro. Nos vemos entonces el viernes al mediodía. A las 12, ¿está bien?
Perfecto.
Súper.
Chao, chao.
Listo, maestro. Chao.